Hi students of class 10 CBSE. Here I am with a new lesson, Mijbil the Otter. Students, I want to ask you, why do people keep pets? Do they feel emotionally compensated? Or it is very interesting to keep a pet? It is always easy to keep a pet? No, it is not always easy. To begin with, it is a bit challenging. There are some difficult pets also. But as the time progresses, the pets become very interesting to the people. Okay? So this story is about a strange pet that narrator kept. It was an otter found in the southern Iraq. And I will give you the brief story of how the narrator got this pet and how he started living with it. Okay students, here is the story. The narrator had lost his pet dog, and he was emotionally hungry to have another pet. A kind of vacuum was created in his heart and mind. He wanted another pet, and this time he wanted to keep an otter as a pet. His friend told him that otters are mostly found in the marshes along the river Tigris in southern Iraq. He had some work at Basra in southern Iraq in the Consulate General's office. He along with his friend went there. They both had to collect their mails. His friend's mail arrived on time, and taking the mail he returned. But narrator's mail did not arrive. He had to wait for 5 days. When his mail did arrive, collecting the mail, he returned to his room. And he saw that there were 2 Arabs sitting on the floor of the room. And there was a sack which was squirming and twisting by itself. He was surprised to know what that may be. Then they handed him a note. It was a gift from his friend. And there was an animal in the sack. It was an otter. He was overjoyed, and from there on, a life started for him in which he and otter lived together, and this otter made a huge influence on his life. It was a very interesting but a very tumultuous journey for him. Actually, otter was covered with mud all over, and it bore resemblance to the imaginary creature called dragon, Chinese dragon. It was a small form of a dragon. It took him nearly months to clean him up. He brought the otter to his place, and in this way they both started living. The first day the otter showed aloofness. It remained indifferent to the narrator. It did not come near him. Second day it showed some interest. It came near him, and as the time progressed, narrator got to know that the otter was interested in water, because it came from the watery place, and it splashed water, it sloshed water, and it swam in the bathtub in the bathroom. Not only that, it was very intelligent. It learned to open the water tap also. In this way, the journey began. It played with ball, with marbles. It was an amusing companion for the narrator. But narrator had to return to his place in Scotland called Camus Fearna. But the problem was how to carry the animal to his native place. The British Airways refused to oblige him. The British Airways refused to carry any animal on board. So he got in touch with another airways which would take him along with his otter to London first, and from London to he will take another flight to Camus Fearna. Arrangement was made. He booked the ticket for that airline. On the day of the journey, when he had to start the journey from Basra, but he had been told by officials of the airlines that he must put the animal in a box for the safe journey. He could not take the animal openly along with him. So animal was to be put in a box. So he arranged a box, and the otter was put inside it. And he went out for the hurried lunch, because the time for the journey was not far from then. He had to go to the airport. So he went out for hurried lunch. When he came back, the sight was shocking to him. Actually, there were some air holes on the side of the box so that the otter could breathe easily. And there were some chinks also. Dry blood was visible there. And the narrator was shocked what it was. When he opened the lid, he found that otter was trying to remove the spikes along the wall, and in the process had hurt itself. The narrator somehow clipped and removed the spikes on the walls of the box and put the otter back into it. Now, a lot of time was spent in this. He had only 10 minutes left to reach the airport. He asked the taxi driver to drive very fast. Finally, he reached the airport. Officials were very unhappy with him. Then he boarded the aircraft. The air hostess was of very genial nature. She was a very kind and cooperative lady. So she extended helping hand to the narrator. Narrator confided in her everything. He told her everything, and she promised to cooperate with him. Actually, he sprayed the newspaper near his feet, and the box was put there. He gave a parcel of fish to the air hostess. Actually, the otter lived on the fish. So actually, he gave the fish to the air hostess for refrigeration. But soon, a drama started. The otter was out of the box and started running here and there. And there people were crying and shouting. A lady was standing on the chair and shouting. Narrator wanted to catch the otter, but it was always elusive. He dived for the otter and in the process smeared his face with curry. It was a very embarrassing situation for him, but all the same, the air hostess was not annoyed. As I told you, she was a very patient lady. She cooperated with him. She told him not to worry. She would collect the otter. Somehow she would get hold of the otter and bring it back to him. In this way, the journey continued. He finally reached London. When he reached London, the otter had, as I told you, become very attached to the narrator. And narrator called it otter fixation. You know, student, what is fixation? Have you heard of mother fixation? Mother fixation means a mother is too much attached to her son and she would not allow him any freedom to associate with anybody. It is called mother fixation. So otter, once you make an otter your pet, that otter will never leave you alone, will follow you like your shadow wherever you go. So otter was clung to, attached to the narrator, and always played some games like ping pong games, like we played with marbles and played with water. And most interesting game was that when otter was lying on its back and playing with marble and not allowing the marble to come down to the floor. It was very interesting. And I want to mention here one thing more, that narrator had brought a briefcase from Basra, and that briefcase had got damaged. Its upper part was like this. One end of the briefcase was higher and the other end was lower. So what did the otter do? Actually, the narrator had named him Mijbil. Okay, its short name was Mij, and when he called him Mij, the otter would come running to him. So Mij would start playing a game. He put the ball, he let the ball roll down the incline, and before the ball reached the lowest end, he would run over there and wait for the ball to come in, and he would jump at the ball and catch it. In this way, the otter thought that the ball was an animal. It was surprising the animal. Okay, these different kinds of games did he play. It was very amusing and entertaining. Wonderful creature. So narrator would take him out for a walk, and it became an object of curiosity. People would ask him 1,000 questions. What kind of animal that was? Because otters are not found in England. So people guessed whether it was hippo, was it weasel, was it a mongoose, or walrus, or it was a seal. They guessed this. They asked 1,000 guess questions because they were not sure what kind, but it was an object of curiosity. What kind of animal it was? People were curious. So narrator would take him out for a walk, and he faced so many questions from the strangers, from all kinds of people. He would explain, but they were not convinced. Finally, one day, a laborer was digging a hole near the road, and he raised this question: what that animal is supposed to be? What kind of animal is it? Narrator had no answer, but all the same, people were interested in his otter, and otter was becoming more and more interesting to the narrator. In this way, their journey continued, and in this way, narrator felt emotionally compensated by this otter. His dog had died and he had got better replacement. Students, I am sure you have understood everything very clearly. Please write in the comment section, subscribe to my channel, keep revising. Have a fantastic day.